Coming as one but standing as the 10,000 who came before them. These are the women paving their own path, defying stereotypes, and breaking a lot of glass ceilings. I'm Noor Tagori, and this is A Woman's Job.
Oh man, we are so happy to be here. This is the first camp of its kind. In football, diversity is a strength. It doesn't work if everybody looks the same. Okay, y'all were drafted today.
So it's bright and early on a Saturday morning, and honestly, if I wasn't here for this shoot, I would be in bed sleeping. But all of these women of every single age group are up here hustling, looking the part, ready to play.
Offense on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Offense! A ball carrier, and you'll see him switch hands. Up, 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 up.
This is Jen Welter, and she's pretty much a badass. Apparently, she has been for a while now. It wasn't until after college that she finally got a chance to play this game and have a long, successful career in women's football. But in 2014, she tried something new. She stepped onto the field with the Texas Revolution Arena football team as a running back, becoming the first woman to play a contact position in a male-dominated sport. The next year, the Arizona Cardinals brought her on for the preseason as an assistant coach for linebackers, making her the first woman coach in NFL history.
The beauty of this is that though it's a dream I never could have had, now it's a dream other girls can grow up and have.
Today, Jen is starting what might be a new chapter for her. Training camps that bring the game of football to women of all different ages and backgrounds.
Yep, offense down here. This is something I'm really, really excited about. They're here so that at the end of the day, they feel closer to this game through every interaction that they have with you. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yeah, come do it. So you're right here, so hips are back. But you don't want to be that low. I come off, I do this, boom, she can still react. Look at those hips.
A lot of the women older than me here are doing way better than I could ever do.
I'm covering you. We married, I'm in man, baby.
It's probably a lot more of her out there, we just don't know of them. I think she was able to come in and do what she was able to do because she had enough, behind her, and enough people knew what she was doing, and she was fit for the job. So hopefully what she did can open the door for more.
Walk up here, in coaching right now across the board, not just in football, but in a lot of sports, it is a profession that is dominated by men. The image should be a coach is a teacher. And being a good teacher doesn't come with a gender assignment attached to it. It's just what we're used to seeing versus what's possible.
Who are some of the people that you believe made this kind of an easier path for you to get to here?
To get here, it was all of my sisters in the game. It was Sarah Thomas, being hired as the first full-time ref in the NFL. It was Nancy Lieberman, who, broke many ceilings and barriers in basketball. It was Billie Jean King, who's been fighting the fight on the ground for a very long time, and football, we're just getting there now.
The number of women athletes in America is booming. Since Title IX brought more equality to college sports in the 70s, 3 times as many women are in the game. And of the 4 major American sports, women have an on-ramp to 3 of them in college. But not for football, even though there are more women's teams at a pro level than ever before.
It's really hard to grow up believing you can do something if you don't have somebody you can look to and say, I want to be her when I grow up one day. The more you see women on the sidelines, the more you see women playing the game, the more little girls think, maybe that is for me. And it not only changes how girls see themselves, but how guys view girls and women as well.
What's next for Dr. Jen Welter?
I think you saw here today, hopefully the start of something really powerful and really great. I believe that this is something that's been needed, and I would like to see camps like this all over the country.
We're not here to prove anything to men. We are here to inspire women, to educate women, and to empower women. Some days I do want to be sexy, I do want to wear my heels, it's fine. But I can also take off those heels, take off the gloves, and get a little dirty and do what we need to do. I know that I needed to learn, how to be a mechanic.
We're in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to visit a sisterhood of mechanics. Not gonna lie, I don't know much about cars, and that can mean a miserable time at the auto shop and paying too much for too little. Turns out Patrice Spanx felt all of this too, but unlike me, she did something about it.
I was one of those women who was tired of being taken advantage of. I called myself an auto airhead, and I was. I always felt taken advantage of when I'd go in. I hated any type of experience for my car, taking in for repair or buying. So I got the idea, there needs to be a space. There's a space here, there's a market here for women in the automotive industry.
Patrice has a point. For the first time, more American women than men have driver's licenses. And yet, of all the auto mechanics in the country, only 2% are women. So it's not much of a surprise that women often get the short end of the stick when it comes to auto repair deals. One study found a significant difference in the price quote given to men and women for the same exact fix. To help solve this, Patrice wants more women mechanics, and just generally more women in STEM fields. That's science, technology, engineering, and math.
So I know we have more girls in engineering and in STEM fields than ever before, but kind of what's your take on the need for more women in STEM?
Sometimes it's not about getting women to sign up for it, but how do we support them once they're in it? And so we're seeing a lot of girls sign up for the science, technology, engineering, and math fields, but once they're in it, right, they're not supported. We need engineers, not just men, women, minority engineers. We need engineers in general in America. Sue, I'm gonna want you to look at this car.
After all the grease, tools, and tires, it was time for some pampering. Lucky for me, this isn't just an auto shop. It's also a beauty bar.
The goal was always to have a shop that catered to women and had a nail salon that was so you can get your nails done. I mean, I created a space for me that I would want to bring my car to. When I was a kid, I didn't know where I was going to go. Nobody in my family went to college, but my mom would tell me your education is a ticket to a better life. So I kept thinking I need to go to school. We were poor on welfare, and I suffered from abuse as a child really young. And from that, I got this deep down burning desire to just help others who are in pain or in need. I'm the exception, right? I was able to get out of that bad situation, and now it's my job to pay it forward, help other people to be able to empower themselves.
How do you think you running this business is a way to combat the sexualization or fetishizing of women in male-dominated fields?
It's interesting because people think that I'm sexualizing it because I have the red heels and I wear my kind of tight pants, and I tell them, listen, I'm not saying you have to be sexy to be a mechanic, I just am sexy. Like, it's just...
What do you think needs to happen to change that mindset so that we don't have those stereotypes?
Representation, right? You need to just start seeing more women who work on cars that look like me, that look like Susan, that look like Valerie. And so how do we do that? Girls Auto Clinic is trying to make it easier for women, so they do have that, but right now I'm just one shop. So hopefully in the future, women won't struggle and they'll say, hey, I want to work on cars and I know I have a place to work. We probably will be looking for men, we will be hiring guys. It's just, there's so many available women out here that want to work on cars that have great skills, and I want to give them the opportunity, absolutely.
Sister Scientist is my way of just bashing those stereotypes of what a scientist or a chemist look like. The young girls who were told to play with Barbies and not chemistry sets, it's just really showing those young ladies that they don't have to compromise who they are.
So ready.
All right, this makes you official.
I'm an official scientist?
You are official junior scientist.
I really do feel official in this, though.
Yes, it does make you official. All right, So you ready to get your hands dirty?
I'm so ready.
So this is where all the magic happens.
Magic or madness?
A little bit of both. It's, you know, cosmetic chemistry is 50% science and 50% art. That's what I say. So today, you are going to make your very own styling dough.
I'm so excited.
This is Erica Douglas, also known as Sister Scientist. She's a cosmetic chemist, which means she's behind a lot of those beauty brands you see on store shelves. Lotions, hair gels, deodorant, that kind of thing. Plenty of women use these products, but not many make them. Only 23% of chemical engineers are women. That's created a lot of challenges for Erica, but also some unique opportunities.
One of the reasons that I'm able to formulate as well as I do for women in particular is because I understand how the products work and the experience that you will have in a bathroom or wherever you are. And I think that's my advantage over a male chemist, it's specifically in this space, is that I'm going to use the product in a way that he may never use it.
Essentially, you learned how to cater to the consumers by being the consumer.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think the best creators of products are the consumers of those products.
What do you think is the typical image of a chemist in the average person's head?
Male. So like most of the images I saw growing up were men in science. One of the big things was, Mom, why doesn't my hair look like the other blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls? And when you get in the pool, like, why does my hair change when it gets wet, but their hair stays straight? So I was always trying to find things to kind of fit in. So when people say, oh my goodness, I love this product, I can't live without it, it really like kind of touches me in a special place here because I was always that person looking for stuff and wanting to try stuff and find solutions for like the skin and hair problems that I had.
So where did the name Sister Scientist come from?
Stereotypically, men have been portrayed predominantly in these more scientific and technological kind of spaces, and so putting the two words together almost seemed like foreign. So to see them together like that makes people really think twice. As a young girl, to know that there's a sister scientist out there is powerful, I think. It is officially a gel now. Yeah, major.
I'm a chemist, guys.
A woman makes a good blacksmith because she can prove to the world that you don't have to have a heavier hammer. It's about knowing what you're doing with that hammer, with the metal, rather than the brute force using the finesse and the brain.
So the first step for the nail is to draw out a nice long taper, and I want it to be more pointy. Here's my first nail tonight. You can pass it around if you want.
So we just made the first nail of the class, which is typically the beginner's class. Steps, not very beginner to me. Lisa Girton is a woman who forged her own path with, well, a forge. It's not really common to come across a blacksmith these days, but women blacksmiths are especially tough to find. In the field, women make up only 5% of sheet metal workers and 1% of metal tool makers. And because blacksmithing is steeped in masculine stereotypes, Lisa raises a lot of eyebrows.
Have you ever had people doubt your teaching abilities and the skill?
Yes. Are you kidding? Well, I'm a petite woman. Really? You're a blacksmith? I like to challenge myself, so I would see someone doing something and say, I want to be like that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be as strong as this man. I want to be able to do what that man can do. with this body. It's pretty fun. You guys will get to play tomorrow. So you want to try the smaller stuff first? Okay.
Here is the nail that Lisa made, and I'm going to replicate. Yeah, like actually I'm really nervous right now. I'm not joking.
So you're getting better. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're hitting it in the same spot every time.
It's like a process of gaining confidence.
Yes, exactly. Being able to do this has given me confidence. I'm able to do this, so I can stand next to men who can do this too and do just as well. And before, you know, I had no clue that I could do this, you know, and I always had it in my mind to be a teacher, so it makes it maybe more satisfying that I'm able to be a blacksmith and teach that to other people.
My first thing that I've ever forged, and I'm feeling stronger than ever.
Woohoo!
Do you see this field growing and like being more welcoming to more women blacksmiths?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think within the last 5 years or so, especially, there's been a lot more women getting interested in blacksmithing.
There's a macho thing about cooking. Everybody was just, you know, like a pirate.
We saw people who worked for chefs that, you know, they just couldn't go past a certain point.
We went out at a young age to open our own business because that was the only path we could find. Okay, pick up a fish taco. Is that quesadilla ready?
Yep, 2 secs. All right, let's see, what else?
Susan Feniger and Mary Sue Milliken are restaurateurs and chefs. Being boss ladies of a commercial kitchen, well, that's surprisingly rare. Across the country, professional kitchens are still a bit of a boys' club. Women make up 40% of cooks in the US, but that number drops as you move up the ranks. Only 21% of chefs and head cooks are women, and that's especially weird because half the students at the top US culinary schools are women.
So how often did you guys find kitchens where women were running the kitchen and were executive chefs? How common was that?
When we started, way back when we started, there were very few women in the kitchen at all. So there were not many women running chefs. They were just not even line cooks.
Not even in pastries.
In French, yeah.
So where does the whole, oh, if you're a woman, you should be in the kitchen come from, if that wasn't ever the case?
Yeah.
It was women in the kitchen at home.
Right.
Why do you think it was different at home versus in a restaurant?
It wasn't it definitely wasn't a feminine job in any way.
It still isn't.
You know, you burn yourself, your nails get broken, you
smell like garlic and fish when you get home.
The kitchen's no longer the environment where people are, talking totally crude, and pinching people's butts and having,
Oh, that was a thing?
Oh my God, such a thing. And women participated in it just as much. It just, the talk was so much cruder and people swore all the time.
It was sort of how we got by in the beginning because we needed to be part of the culture that was already there before we could change it. We had to be accepted, we had to be part of the boys club. And in order to do that, Susan was the biggest butt pincher around.
Probably.
And in retrospect, I think it's much easier to see where you didn't get the promotions, you didn't get the raises, you didn't get the opportunities that the boys got.
Certainly women now, times have changed dramatically, And I think women see a place for themselves in professional kitchens, way different. But many, many women end up starting their own restaurant because it's a way to be able to be your own boss, be entrepreneurial, and not be sort of held down.
That's exactly what Susan and Mary Sue did. They met working at a Chicago restaurant where they became the first female chefs in an all-male kitchen. And in 1985, the duo took a road trip to Mexico, only trying street foods and home-cooked meals. They took what they learned back to California and opened up the first border grill. 10 years later, Susan and Mary Sue debuted a cooking show on the Food Network called The Too Hot Tamales. And 400 episodes, several restaurants, and cookbooks later, their dynamic in the kitchen has only gotten stronger.
So do you guys want to tell us first what we're making today?
Absolutely. We're going to start with our Baja ceviche. So I have the shrimp marinating in the lime juice, and you're going to see it start to change color. It's going to get whiter and a little pinker. Meanwhile, we'll chop up the garnish, which is going to be, do a nice fine dice, and so you get a little bit of heat in there. Then what we do is we put this right on the tostada. You know, we learned this dish down in Ensenada, actually, in Mexico, in Baja.
That looks amazing.
Doesn't it? Yeah. The truth is, you know, in society, all of us are drawn to different things. It's really about finding your place. And for me, the first time I worked in a kitchen, I knew I was home.
This season of A Woman's Job was a journey to find the women who make it easier for everyone to break barriers. These are roles we're not used to seeing women in, and hopefully these stories will inspire others to defy stereotypes in their own life. These are women who are taking back preconceived notions of what it means to identify as a woman today and saying, here's our story, get comfortable with it. And speaking of getting comfortable, every episode of this series is now up on Newsy's channels and on Hulu. So settle in and binge watch to your heart's desire. Thank you to our videographer Kevin Clancy, our producer Zach Toombs, and to the talented Mike Shinoda for our killer original theme. And thank you to everyone who watched, supported, and engaged. We'll keep telling stories that break down stereotypes, and we hope you'll be watching.